There she is.
Hey, so what'd you think? Hey everyone, what is up? Holly Chanel here, and welcome to my series Drum Dojo Talks, where I get inside the drum dojo and talk to the most amazing, acclaimed, talented, best drummers in the world right here. Let's look inside. Heads up, if you like what you see, please like and subscribe and enable those notifications. Our first guest here in Drum Dojo Talks is the amazing Ulysses Owens Jr., multi-Grammy award winning drummer and who just got off a Broadway stint in New York. We're going to deep dive some of the most essential parts of his experience on Broadway and his experience as a businessman in the music world. So come on down and let's get started.
There she is.
Hey, Ulysses. So what'd you think? So Ulysses, so coming off the masterclass, you were here at the Common Drummers Academy in the Drum Dojo Club. That's where we were. What stood out to you most about working with this group of international drummers today?
I think what stood out to me the most was the level of attentiveness and also the level of awareness that all of these musicians had of me. I feel like I've been invited into a lot of these kind of talks, particularly, since COVID. Like everybody has some kind of a network, whatever. I just did one a few weeks ago with Quincy Davis, and who you should absolutely get on if you need
Yeah,
help. I can
I would
connect.
love help. Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll connect you with Q. But anyway, I feel like in this particular chat, people knew who I was and they knew specifically what they wanted from me.
Mhm.
Versus, I think sometimes what happens is in these kind of scenarios, you're just this guest artist that people want to meet and they want to gain from you and they want opportunities for you to make them better, but they're not really that interested in like who you actually are. So I think that you've cultivated a wonderful group of people who are sincerely interested in the people that you bring on,
Yeah.
there's a genuine connection. So
Yeah, thank you. So, in today's class that you had, what was a moment that inspired you in the Common Drummers Academy?
I think toward for me it was towards the end. I don't know if it was Sandy, the woman,
Kathy.
sorry, Kathy.
That's all
Uh,
right. Kathy, yeah.
But yeah, Kathy, when she started asking me, like, I would not have expected her to be someone that's playing like Dixieland music. And so to like do a deep dive and start talking about like all the gear I had to get and like whatever, and she was aware of it. It was like to see her eyes light
Oh,
up.
she has a master's in percussion. She's a retired band director and she's a
Nice.
full-time musician right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
In New
like, yeah,
York. Hmm.
nice. And when I pulled out the low boy, everybody like, went crazy. Like that was really cool because I remember specifically during the time of the show when I wrote DW and, got the low boy,
Yeah.
that was like I was so thrilled, because I knew what the low boy had been and the fact that they took the time to recreate it or build a new one. I was like, wow. So to share that excitement with another group of people was really cool.
That's awesome. Awesome. Cool. So segueing, to your professional career, you've shared the stage with complete legends. So what's one lesson you learned from performing with those legends that you could never get from a practice room?
Oh, that's great. I'll share one I got from Christian McBride, and it was very simple. He wanted me. He was, so on the road, like you're exhausted, and it's similar to being a parent. You're always
Yeah.
tired, and but every time we would get in the car and we would travel somewhere and we would like go somewhere, and he always had headphones on. He was always listening to music. And in the reverse, I was always reading. I was always writing. I was always like researching. I was reading business books and like I was always into entrepreneurship. So he and the pianist Christian Sands, they were constantly checking out, everything from VSOP to whatever new jazz records or whatever. And I remember him one day saying to me, he was like, "Man, do you like music?" And I said, "I do." I said, "But not as much as I love business." And he said, "Yeah." that makes sense. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, no, he said, you one of the baddest drummers out here. He's like, your playing is incredible. He was like, but I just watch you on the road and you're so into like, I don't see you checking out new records. And it's funny, my girlfriend gets on me about like my girlfriend loves me. She's a Broadway
Oh,
um,
cool.
artist.
That's
We
awesome.
met actually in the show. And
She was in the show that you were in?
yeah, she was in the show, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome, man. What a family event.
Yeah, so we met actually before the show closed.
Mhm.
And she loves music. Like she has to listen to it in the morning, at night, like it's her thing. I'm not that way. Like I don't I do music and I love it, but I'm so much more driven by like entrepreneurship. Like the guy that you were just telling me about who you um it's
Paul. Yeah.
started. I'm gonna look him up because I
Oh,
want
I should hook you up. I have his info. You should
yeah,
really talk to him, really. Yeah.
like that kind of stuff drives me. Like so anyway, I say that to say what I learned was to be in his band, he needed other musicians that work with him to love the music as much as he loved it.
Mm.
So after that conversation, I had to fall back in love with music and the records. And as I did, our shows got better. They were already great shows, but they got better because I was on the same frequency as the other guys. And they got into reading more, they got into whatever, but like there was a certain kind of frequency they both were already on. They're also Geminis, but that they were both on that I wasn't on because I wasn't driven by music in the same way that they were driven. I was driven by success or driven by loving music so it could help me be successful, but I didn't have the sheer passion to just be like, I'm gonna listen to 30 Herbie Hancock records today. I'm like,
Yeah.
I would rather go, watch Simon Sinek do a keynote address and, listen to watch Reginald Lewis's or read his book, about business or go watch a movie about business takeover, like
Yeah.
that's just how I'm driven.
Hmm.
So that was a really great lesson for me.
Cool. How do you, follow-up question to that? How do you feel that your business tendencies, like I know I saw online you're going to business school, right? Too,
Yeah,
on top
yeah.
of so how has that kind of shaped your career where you are at now too?
Oh, it's absolutely informed it. I mean, if anything, I think that my my business acumen is why, and listen, when I say I have the career I have, I don't mean like my career is some great career. I think I've been blessed. I've had some really great opportunities, but I still have things I want to achieve. But I think for what I have been able to achieve, my business acumen has helped me get there because I've been so strategic. Like I know, like I don't just do anything. Like everything, even this, I wanted to help you out, but I was like, oh yeah, it'd be good to do this, like to meet more people and
Yeah.
do more, like meet more students and just continue to build my online profile. It made sense for my goals.
Totally.
So I think that as a business guy, everything I do is quantified around what my goals are and what I like desire to experience and achieve. And I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people move that way. In the creative space, a lot of people move very emotionally. And
Hmm.
so what happens is they're moving to things because they're like, oh, this feels good, or, I need to do this because I just love it. I don't move that way. I move based on, I want to get from here to here. And if I'm going to get from here to here, what is the decisions I'm going to make in the meantime to get me from here to here? And so that absolutely is why I feel like I'm in like where I am. Like even from behind this studio, like I literally designed this studio in the middle of the pandemic. I already had the space, but I completely reworked it. Took me about 3 to 4 years to get it to where it is now. But it's a full, up and running production studio where I can record, shoot, do what I need to do meetings, do whatever. And it took me 3 to 4 years. I mean, it started as a place with wasp nests and bees and snakes and all kind of stuff in here, and now is fully air conditioned and soundproofed and whatever. So I find that like, but I saw this moment 4 years ago. Like, so I was throwing money even in a time where I could have been
You
saving.
literally visualized your future. Yeah,
Visualize.
that's the whole point, especially with drumming and stuff. Like, we
Yeah,
literally need to envision ourselves in the
yeah,
future, or we'll never get there. Like,
right.
we'll
And
never get there.
make decisions now. Like for instance, you're sacrificing now
Yeah,
so that you can get to where you're gonna be 3 years from now or whatever. So I feel
totally.
like that's something that and I'll just say this piece and be done. A lot of jazz drummers, and I don't want to say this in an insulting way,
Yeah.
but they think very antiquated. They think very like in my book, I talk about making a living versus designing a career.
Yeah.
Making a living, neither one of you and I, neither one of us would be doing this if we were making a living. We would be at a job that's paying way more money so we could pay whatever we need to pay to take care of our family.
Right.
What we're doing now is we're designing a career, which means we're putting and investing our energy into things that are going to give long-term growth. So what I find is that a lot of jazz drummers, they don't think long term. They think gig to gig.
Yes.
And so then what happens is they wake up or the pandemic happens or something catastrophic happens, and that mentality of like it doesn't work because there's nothing there. Versus when that happened and everybody was like messed up, I just went and started doing nonprofit work. I went online and I built this studio. Like, so I just shifted my energy to something else that helped me to do what I need to do.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, it's the visionary. You're right. And I see that a lot of musicians in general. It's like from gig to gig to gig to gig. And some of them are happy doing that, but some of them are doing that and they just don't know how to get out of that.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess a question I have for you is if there's a musician who's watching this interview, any instrumentation, you know, if you are stuck going from gig to gig to gig, like being a gigging drummer, how would you help them get out of that mindset so they're no longer a gigging drummer, but they're a creative and a business person?
Well, the first thing that they have to do is they have to fall out of love with the career they have. So I had a couple instances happen to me. I was on tour with Kurt Elling and Christian McBride, both of which had a lot of work, but then they did these all-star tours. And these all-star tours made them put their band or send their band home because they were playing with all these all-star people. So basically, I was like, oh shoot, like I went from working to all of a sudden I was sitting at home. And it happened to me 2 years in a row back to back. When that happened to me 2 years in a row back to back, I was like, oh, so if I'm constantly waiting on somebody to give me something or hire me, I'm always going to be at someone's beck and call. So what you have to do is fall out of love with what that feels like and say, all right, I'm going to develop something else. And so I think that same thing now. There's some things that I was doing, some things I was committing my time to, and I was like, you know what? If I don't change this, where I want to be 3 years from now, the things that are in my dream journal, the things that are in my, my manifestation journal, they're not going to happen if I keep filling up time and space doing this. So I need to separate, cut my energy back, push it to myself and the things I want to build so I can do it. So yeah.
Yeah. And that, yeah, I love that. Yeah. Thank you, Ulysses.
Of course.
So I have one last question for
Sure.
you, for this stage. If you could leave our audience with one message about the purpose of being a drummer beyond just playing the notes, what would it be?
Can you ask me that question again?
Yeah. So if you could leave our audience or the people who are watching this, right, or even anybody who you work with one message about the purpose of being a drummer or your purpose or a purpose in life beyond just playing the notes, what would it be? So connecting your drumming to something bigger than
So,
music.
so I would say that, I always ask drummers when I do master classes, what is the reason why you exist in the music? And, I get 50 billion answers. I mean, you saw me go through this when we were there. And basically, when they don't answer it right, I say, your goal or your role is to be a timekeeper, meaning our job is to keep time and be the musical foundation to everything that's happening on top of us, right? So I would say when it comes to what advice I could give around their purpose, I think your purpose is to hold everybody together. Your purpose is to be selfless and to be the engine. So, you know, your training when you like what you're committing to this Drum Dojo Academy or whatever, it's like you're committing to training people who are going to be the foundation to whatever scenario that they're in. It's like being a it's like being a mother.
Yeah.
If you were training a bunch of mothers, you're training a bunch of women who are going to birth beings and nurture beings and nurture them to a place where they can become fully realized and sustainable people and contribute to society. So there's the practical side of that, but the reality is you're going to birth people who produce other people, right? So it's the same thing as a drummer. Your goal is to do whatever you do mentally, physically, and spiritually so that people can sit on top of you, philosophically. So the drummer plays the groove, bass player gets on top of that, piano gets on top of that, horns get on top of that, singers on top of that. Like we're basically the engine, So what I would say is your purpose needs to be centered around what are you doing for other people and how is it impacting other people.
Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Ulysses, for being here for this interview.
Thank you so much for watching this video. And please don't forget again to like and subscribe, because we're going to be getting deep down and dirty in this Drum Dojo Talks land. A lot more drummers coming in, and we're going to be getting a lot of insight here. I just wanted to let you know that down below this video, I have a free masterclass that I would really love you guys to check out. I think you'll get a lot out of it. It talks about my float and fall method and the 3 pathways to get there in my playing. It also talks about my program, the Common Drummers Academy. So if you're interested in knowing what that's about, please come on inside and let's watch that masterclass together, and you'll see what it's like to study with the pros. Okay, peace out everybody. See you later.